I want you to like do something for a second. If you're not driving, take out your phone, unlock it, and just look at your digital wallet app.
Yeah, just stare at that little icon for a moment.
Right. Right now, what is it to you? I mean, it's probably just a pretty dumb folder.
Basically, yeah.
It's holding a digital version of your driver's license. Maybe a couple of credit cards or
Maybe a boarding pass if you're traveling.
exactly,
Right.
or, a loyalty card for that coffee shop you visit like once a month. But what if looking at that app as just a convenient digital card holder is completely missing the point?
It entirely misses the point.
Right. What if that app wasn't just a passive folder, but an autonomous personal assistant? Like something capable of executing complex multinational transactions entirely on your behalf.
It sounds like sci-fi, but it's really not.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today, our mission is to explore a truly fascinating paper titled Looking Forward to the Next Generation of Digital Wallets is Always Tricky.
And we are going to completely dismantle how you think about that little app on your phone.
It is a wild ride.
It's a really profound shift in perspective. Because currently, the way we view tools like, say, the European Digital Identity Wallet,
The EUDI wallet.
right, the EUDI wallet,
Yeah.
we view it through an incredibly narrow lens. We look at these things as mechanisms for tightly scoped bilateral interactions.
Like just showing your ID to a bouncer.
Exactly. Or you tap your phone at a cash register to pay for groceries. The wallet is just this passive endpoint for presenting official credentials.
It just sits there until you need to prove something.
Yeah, and our conceptual horizon is surprisingly constrained by what we already know. We just assume a digital wallet is, a digital version of the thing in our back pocket.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because to understand where we are going to see this wild future of autonomous transactions, we first have to understand why our current digital wallets are fundamentally lacking.
Right. We need to look at what they get wrong about the very concept of a wallet.
So where do we start?
Well, to frame our discussion, the paper makes it clear we are focusing entirely on the mass market citizen wallet.
So like not the corporate stuff?
No, we are ignoring niche enterprise deployments or highly specialized corporate tools.
Yeah.
We are talking about the wallet you and I use in our everyday digital lives.
The one on everyone's phone right now.
Exactly. And in its current form, that citizen wallet is little more than a convenient digital receptacle.
A digital receptacle. That is a very polite way of saying it's just a bucket.
It really is just a bucket. It holds things, but it doesn't do anything with them. Think about a physical leather wallet,
Okay.
the one you might still carry. It actually has 3 defining characteristics that current digital wallets completely lack.
Wait, really? Like what?
First, it has independence from the items it carries. Second, it has freedom from the location in which it is stored. And third, it has complete indifference to the contexts in which it is used.
Indifference to the context, meaning I can put whatever I want in there.
Right. You can put cash in it, photo of your dog, a crumpled receipt from a hardware store. The leather wallet doesn't care. It functions universally.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But current digital wallets fail on almost all these fronts. They are highly dependent on the specific ecosystem that created them.
Locked into proprietary walled gardens, basically.
Exactly.
It's like we invented a digital briefcase, but we glued all the documents to the inside.
Oh, that's a great way to put it.
Right. Like, sure, you can open the briefcase to show someone a piece of paper, like flashing a digital boarding pass at the airport, but you can't actually take the paper out.
You can't hand it over.
Exactly. You can't manipulate it, attach it to a contract, or use it dynamically in the real world with other people. The credentials are permanently stuck to the container.
They can't interact with each other at all. That visual hits the core of the problem perfectly. The documents are glued to the inside of the briefcase.
So how do we fix it?
While the ambition for the next generation of digital wallets is to unglue those documents. Wallets must become active participants in digital interaction.
Active participant.
Yeah. Their inherently digital nature should allow them to move well beyond the limitations of physical artifacts. We're talking about enabling automation, structured interaction, and assurance at a massive scale.
So the wallet stops being a passive endpoint and starts being an engine.
Exactly. A powerful engine.
Okay, so we've established the need to unglue the documents, right, to turn the bucket into an engine. But how do we actually build a wallet that acts autonomously?
It does sound a bit like science fiction.
It really does. But here's where it gets really interesting. For a wallet to be an autonomous interaction platform, it needs to initiate and complete ad hoc transactions directly with other wallets.
True peer-to-peer exchanges.
Right, or even interact with systems that don't have wallets at all. And the fundamental building block making this possible, according to the paper, is financial capability.
Yes, the financial aspect cannot be an external adjunct.
It can't just be a plug-in.
Right. It cannot be an afterthought where the wallet hands you off to a completely different system. It must be a first-class capability.
First-class capability, meaning it's native.
Native to the wallet, exactly.
Hmm.
This means that any step in a workflow handled by your wallet can trigger a corresponding financial action natively.
Like sending money.
That could be a simple transfer of funds, yeah? Or it could be the execution of a highly regulated financial operation, seamlessly integrated into whatever else the wallet is doing.
Okay, let me push back on this because I can hear people wondering the exact same thing right now.
Go for it.
If my wallet is suddenly running complex financial steps, moving money around, and delegating tasks to cloud services, how is this any different from my current banking app?
That's a very fair question.
Or like a super app, right? Aren't we just stuffing a bank, a messaging app, and an ID holder into one icon and calling it a next-generation wallet? I'm struggling to see the leap from feature-packed app to autonomous engine.
This raises an important question, and it's a distinction that often trips people up. It's not about stuffing more features into an app. A banking app is fundamentally a silo. It handles a linear, bilateral exchange between you and your bank.
You tell the bank to send money, they send it. End of transaction.
Right. But real-world interactions rarely conform to linear bilateral exchanges. They span multiple actors, they involve conditional branching, and they unfold over a prolonged period of time.
Okay, let's define conditional branching for a second, just so everyone is on the same page. That's the logic of like, if this happens, then do that, but if this other thing happens, wait 3 days before doing anything.
Yes, exactly. And managing that conditional branching requires the wallet to interpret a vast range of triggers across multiple systems.
So it's constantly listening and deciding.
It is. This isn't just you tapping a Pay Now button on a screen. These triggers might include purely digital events, like an authenticated message from a vendor or a system notification from a customs portal.
Okay.
But they will also include physical or environmental signals.
Like IoT telemetry, the Internet of Things.
Yes, exactly.
Your wallet could be listening to a temperature sensor on a shipping container halfway across the world, and that sensor's data acts as a hard trigger for a financial action inside your pocket.
It sounds wild, but yes.
But how does that actually work securely? I mean, if my wallet is moving my money based on a thermometer in another country, how does it know the data is real?
It relies on cryptographic proofs. The temperature sensor in that shipping container isn't just sending an email saying, hey, it's 20 degrees.
Right. That would be incredibly easy to fake.
Exactly. The sensor itself has a private key baked into its hardware. It mathematically signs the temperature data.
Okay, I'm following.
When that data ping reaches your wallet cryptographically verifies the signature. It doesn't have to trust the shipping company or some central database.
It just trusts the math.
It mathematically proves that the specific hardware sensor recorded that specific temperature at that exact time. The wallet becomes a controlled, explainable mechanism for interpreting all these diverse, mathematically verified events.
And the execution models for all this will be flexible, right?
Very flexible.
Because some workflows, like the highly sensitive stuff, might run entirely within the secure hardware enclave of the wallet on your phone.
Exactly, completely local.
But other steps might be deliberately delegated to intermediaries or cloud-based services. The wallet makes routing decisions based on the complexity of the task, the trust boundaries involved, or specific regulatory requirements.
And that dynamic routing is what makes it a platform rather than an app. It orchestrates the workflow across whatever boundaries are necessary to get the job done.
So what does this all mean for you? Connecting cryptographically signed IoT telemetry, conditional branching, and automated finances across international borders sounds incredibly risky for a normal person.
It sounds like a headache.
Right. If my wallet is doing all of this autonomously in the background, what happens if something goes wrong?
Well, the user experience mandate here is uncompromising. Despite all this underlying technical sophistication, the user experience must remain radically simple.
It has to be.
For a mass-market citizen wallet to function as a general-purpose interaction platform, it cannot require you or me to think like systems integrators.
We shouldn't have to understand API endpoints or cryptographic handshakes just to buy a product.
Which is a huge relief, because nobody wants to write lines of code just to negotiate a refund.
Right. So how do they keep it safe but simple?
Ensuring safety while maintaining that simplicity comes down to explicit terms and visible contracts.
Visible contracts.
Yes, participants must be able to see clearly, in plain language within their own wallet, the obligations, liabilities, constraints, and recovery mechanisms associated with every single step of a multi-party workflow.
Before your wallet initiates anything, it essentially presents you with a mapped out blast radius.
Exactly. You see the blast radius, and you confirm those terms explicitly.
And when things go wrong, because they absolutely will in the real world, right? We need a way to fix it. I was thinking about the transaction log and bounded rollback mechanisms mentioned in the paper.
Oh, that's a crucial part of this.
It's basically the difference between hitting undo on a typed sentence versus trying to undo eating a piece of cake.
That is a brilliant analogy. Let's expand on that because the distinction between digital state changes and physical state changes is the core of how these autonomous systems manage failure.
Right. So if I'm typing an email and I misspell a word, I just hit backspace.
Huh.
The system perfectly reverses the action as if it never happened.
It's totally seamless.
That's a purely reversible step. It's a digital state change. But if I eat a piece of cake, hitting an undo button doesn't magically uneat the cake.
No, it certainly doesn't.
The physical state of the world has changed. The cake is gone and my body is digesting it. If I want to restore the state of having a cake on the table, I have to take a real world action.
Right.
I have to go bake a new cake or get in my car, drive to the bakery and buy another one.
And in a complex financial and logistical workflow, that real world action is called a compensating action.
Compensating action.
Yes. Current digital wallets generally only understand the digital backspace. If a payment fails before clearing, they drop the pending hold. Simple.
Because no physical cake has been eaten yet.
Exactly. But an autonomous wallet requires a highly reliable transaction log that understands when a physical state change has occurred. If a physical good is shipped across a border, the wallet knows it can't just hit undo on the shipping process.
The item is physically on a truck.
Right, so the wallet has to orchestrate the baking of the new cake.
The compensating action.
Exactly. The compensating action might involve the wallet automatically initiating a return shipping workflow or applying a pre-agreed financial penalty to the vendor.
Or even triggering a micro-insurance claim to cover the lost value.
Yes. The wallet understands the profound difference between a digital backspace and a real-world mess.
And it manages the mitigation automatically based on those explicit terms you agreed to at the very beginning.
It executes the compensating actions without you having to spend 3 hours on hold with customer service.
That is the dream. And starting this whole cascade shouldn't be a chore, right? You shouldn't have to fill out a 50-field form.
Definitely not. The initiation should happen via natural language, voice commands, and guided templates. You literally just talk to your phone.
Which perfectly sets up how we test this theory. To prove that this radical simplicity can actually orchestrate a highly complex physical and digital reality, let's walk through a specific real-world scenario from the paper.
This is a deliberately lightweight example, but it perfectly illustrates the profound shift in how everyday commerce could function when friction is removed.
It's the cross-border kitten protocol.
I love this example.
Imagine taking out your phone, opening your Citizen wallet, and using an AI-assisted voice prompt to just say, I want to give my granddaughter a kitten delivered by post to another country.
On the surface, that sounds like a simple, almost magical transaction. But think about the mechanical nightmare that actually entails in our current logistical model.
It would be impossible for an average person today. I mean, if you try to do that today, you, the purchaser, have to act as the general contractor for a multinational operation.
You'd be doing it full-time for a week.
Right. You have to research and assemble all the customs documentation for a live animal. You have to locate and hire specialized transport.
And you have to pay the pet shop in advance.
Crucially, yes. And you retain almost all the delivery risk. If the kitten gets delayed at customs or something goes wrong in transit, you are the one making frantic phone calls to a foreign shipping depot.
Trying to figure out where your money went and how to rescue an animal. It's a mess.
Contrast that nightmare with the wallet-orchestrated workflow. In this new paradigm, the risk allocation is entirely rebalanced.
It completely shifts.
Because the wallet handles conditional branching and has first-class financial capabilities, payment can be made conditional on verified delivery. This shifts the responsibility for safe transport entirely from the buyer to the seller.
Your funds are locked in an automated escrow. They are not released until the explicit conditions of the contract are met.
But my immediate thought is, wouldn't the pet shop hate that? I mean, if I'm a small local pet shop, I don't want to take on international shipping risks or deal with customs just to sell a cat.
See, what's fascinating here is that this architecture actually creates a massive opportunity for the pet shop
How so?
because the workflow makes all obligations explicit, handles the complex API routing, and clarifies the risk up front. It enables that small shop to offer a service that is inherently cross-border without needing a massive logistics department.
Okay, that makes sense.
In fact, the shop might not even ship an animal internationally at all. The wallet's workflow could connect with a vendor locally near the destination. It's essentially interflora for pets.
Oh, like ordering flowers for someone in another state?
Exactly.
You pay your local florist, but a florist in the destination city actually delivers the bouquet. But here, your wallet is negotiating that supply chain autonomously.
Yes, all in the background.
Let's walk through the multi-step verification the wallet is doing behind the scenes, all because you just spoke one sentence into your phone.
It's quite a list.
First, your wallet's AI translates your natural language request into a rigid smart contract. It interacts with the pet shop's system to agree on explicit terms, price, delivery window, compensating actions if things fail.
Mm?
Then, it autonomously handles the shipping arrangements.
Take it a step further. It also coordinates the permit acquisitions.
Right.
Your wallet communicates directly with government customs APIs. It presents your verified credentials, pulls the necessary import regulations for a live animal, and secures the cross-border paperwork instantly.
It just creates a temporary verifiable credential specifically for that transport.
Exactly.
And it sets up those physical world triggers we talked about earlier, the staged proofs of life.
This is where the IoT telemetry comes in.
Right. The wallet is receiving cryptographically signed telemetry from the transport company. The temperature sensor in the climate-controlled van signs a message every hour verifying the environment is safe.
The GPS unit signs a location ping, verifying it crossed the border on time.
And if a sensor reports a dangerous temperature spike, the wallet can automatically trigger a compensating action, like alerting a local veterinary service or withholding partial payment for breach of contract.
All without you having to lift a finger. And finally, there's the payment resolution.
The escrow release.
Right. The financial action isn't triggered until final acceptance is confirmed. And how does a digital system verify a physical delivery of a live animal?
Through cryptographic evidence at the point of receipt.
Exactly. Your granddaughter receives the kitten. Her digital wallet or her secure device takes a verified, time-stamped, location-stamped photo of the animal.
That specific verifiable digital signal acts as the final trigger.
Your wallet evaluates the signature on the photo, confirms it matches the delivery criteria, and automatically releases the escrowed funds to the pet shop network.
Every single step is explicit, verifiable, and contractually anchored in your own transaction log. You didn't have to act like a systems integrator.
You didn't have to wire money internationally and just cross your fingers.
You just asked your wallet to send a kitten, and it built a temporary multinational corporation to execute your request.
It's mind-blowing when you realize the sheer amount of friction that is being evaporated from global commerce here.
It really forces us to zoom out and look at where the actual bottleneck is today. Because what constrains us right now is not a lack of technology.
No, the cryptographic proofs, the secure enclaves in our phones, the governmental APIs, the transaction logs, these building blocks largely exist right now.
The constraint is just our imagination. It's an unduly narrow lens. We are so used to the walled gardens of current tech giants, so stuck viewing wallets as static containers.
As glued down digital briefcases.
Right, that we can't see the autonomous platform waiting to be unlocked right in front of us.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, shifting from passive ID holders to these active citizen-controlled participants will serve as a powerful catalyst for mass adoption of decentralized systems.
Because it solves a real problem.
Yes. It entirely changes how citizens interact with global commerce because it removes the friction of trust. You no longer have to blindly trust a vendor across the world.
Or hope the shipping company does its job.
Right, because the mathematical architecture of the wallet itself guarantees the execution of the contract.
It literally takes the power of a massive logistics and legal department and puts it right in your pocket. Which leaves me with a final thought I want you, the listener, to mull over today.
It's a big one.
If this vision becomes reality, if a citizen's digital wallet can independently negotiate, contract, and verify complex global supply chains just by the user speaking a sentence into their phone, What happens to the power dynamics of the internet?
That is the real question.
Right now, we rely heavily on massive e-commerce platforms, the Amazons of the world, because they are the only ones who can guarantee trust, handle the complex logistics, and manage the risk of buying something from thousands of miles away.
They act as the ultimate trusted middleman.
Exactly. But when your mass market citizen wallet can execute these multi-party workflows autonomously, dynamically routing payments and mitigating physical risks on the fly, do you even need that giant middleman anymore?
Maybe not.
Does the everyday individual suddenly wield the logistical and contractual power of a multinational corporation, bypassing the tech monopolies entirely right from their digital letter wallet? Think about the leverage you might hold the next time you look at that little app icon on your phone. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.